If you're watching this video, you're likely doing research on the Canon C200, of course. And you're trying to make a decision on, is this the camera for me? What is this camera capable of? And that's what I want to discuss in this video. Let's get right to it. The format that I want to use for this is I just want to show you all clips that I've been able to capture with the camera. This clip right here, so we don't shoot music videos, but my man T-Soul hit me. The song was amazing. I had to do it. We didn't set up any diffusers. It was run and gun. And I could add different LUTs to kind of just go any different direction that I want to go in with this image. And it's sharp, right? It's tack sharp. For this image, we use the DJI Ronin so that we can actually stabilize. And for those individuals who shoot in 60 frames per second, you have to know that when your 60 frames per second is not stabilized, you're not going to get a sharp image because of motion blur, just word to the wise. So you kind of want to get that 60 frames per second as stabilized as possible so that you can eliminate the motion blur and get an extremely sharp image. This stairwell scene that you're checking out here was also shot in raw mode. And I literally just slapped a LUT on it. I didn't have to do too much, but I could have went so many different directions with this scene too. Listen, you've heard the saying, it's not the camera, it's the person behind the camera. That's true up until a certain extent, until you start getting into these big boy cameras. Sometimes these big boy cameras could be a lot more forgiving in your mistakes when you're shooting in raw mode because you're able to tweak it in different directions. So that's why I feel like this is the best camera for beginners, because it does give you that flexibility to make mistakes, right? To be able to tweak it in post. This next image I want to show you, hold on. When I captured this image, this is one of the first images I captured with this camera. And I promise you, you know, like I said, I shoot a lot with the C200 Mark II, of course, the OG C100, the OG C300. I've never been able to achieve an image like this. And once again, I was able to go so many different directions with this shot. I know I sound like a fanboy, and I tell my mentees all the time, go Canon, go Canon. They never listen, and they're always dissatisfied. I know one of my mentees really picked up a couple of Blackmagic's pocket cameras, and I've owned a Blackmagic pocket camera. I purchased a 6K, returned it. I just wasn't a huge fan of the form factor, and that's where the Canon comes in also. It's like a dope camera when it comes to functionality, right? It's a workhorse, number one, but also the functionality. It's easy to kind of go through the menus. It's straight basic. I don't know about this 1DX is kind of weird. Like when it comes to like selecting like whether you want 4K, crop 4K, it's just a cluster F of kind of just going through the menu. It's just like, it's weird. It's kind of, but anyway, I cannot wait to test this camera out this weekend. Make sure you subscribe because I cannot wait to do a review on this camera. I don't know. Like the images that I'm seeing are kind of DSLR-ish, but it also has a lot to do with it being full frame, and I'm not used to shooting full frame. But once again, I'll say this: we're making a decision on a camera. It's not. I mean, the client is not going to notice the difference. You could be shooting with a GH5 in 4K. You could be shooting with the C300 Mark II in 4K. Hell, I could probably shoot with a C100, right? A camera that's $1,500. And the clients that I work with probably would not know the difference. I could probably run my business with a couple of C100s, $1,500 cameras, real talk. But because I do this every day, because I edit, because I color, I know the capabilities of cameras like the C200 when shooting raw, or the C300 Mark II. And my last piece of advice before I end this video is, when you are purchasing a camera, make sure you get 2 matching cameras. And I have a mentee who one of his jobs is he shoots a podcast, and he has 3 different cameras. He has like a Blackmagic, a Sony A7, and then he has a C100, and it's like he's struggling trying to match these colors in post. So, you know, so my advice is start off with, you know, do your research, of course, make a decision and get one camera, but make sure that when you do step up and get a second camera, make sure you buy within the same brand, because you want those images to match in post without any effort. When it comes to color grading, like you just want to be able to slap it on, boom, 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 it matches. But anyway, like I said, Likely if you're watching this video, you're researching the C200, trying to make a decision. Hopefully this video helped you in your process, the decision-making process.